From his home in a dark cave underground, it's Comedy After Dark starring Mike Burke, the rebooted Reboot Edition. And now, turn up the volume, snuggle up and get cozy. It's your social distancing, lifelong expert, Mike Burke!
Oh, look at this. It's another episode of Comedy After Dark. How about that? Gotta shake it. It's a thing I made with alcohol. I don't care. Alright, so anyways, yes, I want to thank all of you for continuing to watch. None of you. It's been great. It's fantastic. I love having no fans and nobody watch this show. And especially during these premieres every Tuesday at 7 p.m. when nobody watches. I love performing to air. It's great, just like this fake audience. This fake audience who laughs and cheers every once in a while when they feel like it, who's not really here, and really is actually my own voice that I made in an audio program and created my own soundtrack using my own voice. Isn't it wonderful? So I wanted to share a story with you about something that took place many years ago. It was probably one of the craziest experiences of my life. Now, every year I used to go to New London, Connecticut with a former friend of mine the week after the 4th of July. Typically, it was the Saturday, the first Saturday after the 4th of July, or the first week. It was a week later. But it would fall on a Saturday. And they would have this big celebration all day. But I would go there for the fireworks. So we'd get there in the evening. We'd try to get there a little early because traffic would become insane. And our goal was to get as close to the barges as possible. Now, they would do this in the river, and it was the Gucci brothers. And if you know anything about the Gucci brothers, they are the same ones who do the show in New York City on the 4th of July. So it's fantastic. So what you would do is when you would come in, you would find a place to park. Now, normally I would get in. If I arrived on time, there was actually this grassy area for a company who would open up their field or their front lawn, which was huge for people to park. So that's usually where I parked. But on one particular year, I actually parked in an actual parking lot. Now, I think maybe the grassy area was full. I don't know. But I thought, okay, this is actually might be better. Maybe it'll be easier for me to get into traffic this time around. One of the scariest situations of my life and craziest happened after one of these fireworks shows. And it happened to be the year when I actually was in the parking lot and not in the grassy field. So as I make my way to the parking lot, which really wasn't far from where we were with the fireworks, so it wasn't a long walk, and everything was going well. I just remember the heat coming off the cars from the hot traffic. But it was all just gridlock, and I just said to my friend, you know what, why not just sit it out? I mean, I'm not in a rush to go anywhere. We'll just sit it out, we'll wait for traffic to start flowing, and once it starts flowing, then we'll get out and drive, and it'll be okay. And that way we don't have to be stuck in traffic. So he's like, yeah, that's fine, that's great. It wasn't that hot of a night, so it had some cool air. We weren't going to fry in the car or nothing, so that's fine. So we make our way to the parking lot, and my truck happened to have been underneath some trees, and actually was kind of in a shadow, so you really couldn't see it. So in any case, there's a purpose for that, why I brought that up. So I make my way to the truck, unlock it, open up the windows, and just chill. And we just talk about shit. Now I noticed everybody in the parking lot is doing the same thing. Nobody's leaving, everybody's just kind of sitting. A few people decided to go create a line so that if the street opened up, they can get out and go, but not a lot. So while I'm sitting there, there was this van, and it was this Hispanic family. And the driver, from what I could see, the dad, he looked pretty big, like pretty big. And he had a wife, and I just noticed how beautiful she was. She was absolutely stunning, and they had a couple of kids in the back, and they even had grandma with them. And so they pulled up in front of us and just kind of chilling. And everything seemed fine. Everybody's calm. And then suddenly I see some kind of chaos going on across from me, way on the other side of the parking lot. And I see things go flying up in the air. I see some dust. And I'm just like confused as to what's going on. And that's when my friend notices it too. And he's like, what is that? And I'm looking over there and I'm like, I think a car just like jumped a fence. And everybody else in the parking lot is starting to turn their heads and look too. And that's exactly what happened. Some crazy nut job drove over the fence because the parking lot didn't go over there. I think there was like a U shape, but that side of the parking lot was closed. They closed it off with a fence. And he went through the fence, and I guess his car jumped in the air, and that's when I caught it, was when he was coming back down, and the dust when he hit it. Next thing you know, you see this car come racing across the parking lot, and then come right up to this van that's in front of me. He comes about an inch, and he slams on his brakes, and he starts beeping the horn, and he's yelling out his window, "Move that! Get that out of my way! Move it, you assholes!" So now the Hispanic family is ignoring them. Now, and that's what you do typically. Everybody ignores all the nut jobs because you ignore them, you don't let them bother you, you just ignore them and hopefully they'll go away. And so that's what the family did. And I'm watching this whole thing unfold right directly in front of me. So the guy gets out of his car and he runs over to the van. He starts screaming and yelling at them, threatening them, "Get out of that f***ing car! Get out of that car! Right now! I will beat your ass! Get out!" They're ignoring him. He goes to the other side. He's screaming through the window where the kids are. He's screaming at grandma. He's screaming at the wife. Meanwhile, I'm like, this guy better watch it because that driver looks pretty big. I think this guy weight lifts Buicks for a living. And you see the guy going like this who's behind the wheel. And I'm like, wow, that guy's staying pretty damn calm. I wouldn't be that calm. Meanwhile, this nut job is continuously yelling and screaming and making threats. He goes, "I will run you over. I will push your car out of the way if I have to. Get out of my way." And still, they're not reacting. So I'm like, okay. But I am getting nervous now. I'm getting nervous because I don't trust this guy. He is acting like a complete and total nut job. And there is nowhere to go. And I started yelling that. I'm like, there's nowhere to go. And I heard other people in other cars say, "Where's this guy think he's going to go? There's nowhere to go. The traffic isn't moving. Nobody's going anywhere." So we, in a way, just kind of laughed him off because we're like, "Fool, you're not going anywhere." So anyways, this continues for a while. And he's starting to get more vicious. He's starting to threaten people. "I will beat your ass. I will beat you to a bloody pulp. I will destroy you. You understand me? I will rip you out of that car." And that's when I see the big Hispanic driver step out. And I'm like, oh boy, this guy's in big trouble now. I knew that this guy was big from the way he looked inside the car, but when he stepped out, holy shit. He had to be about 7'9" and was like enormous. He had muscles that were bigger than Schwarzenegger's entire body. I mean, and when he stood up like, it was like, this is the punk and this is this guy. I mean, it was like this. And that guy looked up like, he was like ready to start swearing at this guy. And he goes, "Oh. Hey, man, my beef's not with you. All right, man, I just need you to get out of the way, man. I gotta go." And the big guy's like, "Get in your car and leave us the hell alone. You understand me? Hey, man, I don't have a beef with you. I got no beef with you. I got a beef with them." He starts pointing at the guy's family. They're doing nothing but sitting there. You just got to get out of my way. I need to get out of here. You got to get out of my way." And the man just points. "Get out of here now." So the man, like, he's like all wiry and everything. And he's like, "God damn it, man." Goes back in his car. The Hispanic guy gets back in the van and just calmly sits down. His wife is like, "Good job." The grandmother's calming the kids down. And the guy wouldn't give up. He's like inside of his car, like banging his hands against the steering wheel and smashing his head against it. And he's screaming and yelling. He's like, "Get out of my way!" Going just completely nuts. Then he gets out. And this is when things go terribly wrong. He starts threatening them. And he's like, "All right, I didn't want to do this, but I got a gun. I got a gun and I'm going to kill each and every one of you. I'm going to pull an effing bullet right in your heads. You hear me? A bullet for each of you and I have enough. I'm going to kill your children. I'm going to kill your wife and I'm going to kill you." And when that started happening, that was like, oh boy, now things have gotten serious. Everybody else is like rolling up their windows doing nothing. And I look over to my friend and I'm like, we can't let this go on. But here's the thing. I told you earlier that we were in the dark. The guy didn't see me there. He didn't even notice me. So I put up a plan. I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to call the cops. We're going to tell them, to get here. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to grab my crowbar from the back. And I'm going to be ready. And if this guy actually has a gun, then I'm going to sneak through the darkness. And I'm going to smash his hand with this gun. And beat him down. And hold him down until the police get here. Now, my friend is like, oh, man, you really want to do that? I mean, wow, that's like... I'm like, we can't sit back and do nothing. And so we put the plan in place. This guy continued to make threats. He kept going back to his car, but I didn't see a gun. I just figured he had the gun in the car. The Hispanic guys staying calm. They rolled up their windows. Maybe the guy didn't want to, cause any harm to his kids, so he didn't want to get out and escalate things further. I don't know. So I called the police, and I didn't know where we were. I didn't know what street we were on. And so I'm like, yeah, the guy is like threatening to kill them. He's right in front of me right now. I don't actually know if he has a gun, but he is threatening them that he does. And they're like, okay, all right, here's what we'll do. We're going to send police officers right now. We do have cops in the area. Just direct us what kind of landmarks you see. I'm like, okay, from where I'm sitting, I see a CVS. I'm towards like the left of it, and I can see this tank in front of that. Okay, that's the so-and-so tank. Okay. All right, so we kind of know where you are. All right, and then there's a shopping store next to me. It's a business. This is the name of the business. Okay, all right, we know exactly where you are now. Okay, great. So, all right, when you come, if I see the cops come, I'll run out to you and wave my hands around. Okay, great. All right, great. We're on our way now. They're actually on their way. All right, excellent. I can hear the sirens go off. Meanwhile, this guy is still threatening. So I reach in the back, I grab my crowbar, and I have it. Actually, it's not a crowbar. It's a tire iron. The tire iron for my, in case I get a flat. So I have that in my hand, and I'm nervous. And I'm really nervous. And the guy now keeps going to the passenger side of his car. So I'm assuming that's where the gun is. And I'm like really nervous because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to do something now. And I start to open my door. And I see the guy reaching for something. I know something's going to happen here. And I am preparing in my head that how dangerous this is. But he doesn't know I'm there. And I could actually sneak up on him. And he's going so crazy that he's not paying attention to what's around him. He didn't even hear the police sirens. So I know that this is an opportunity. So I open up that door and I'm ready to jump out. And that's when I see the police come. I see 2 cop cars. But they go past the parking lot. And I'm like, shit! So I run out of my truck. And I start running towards the street. Now, at this point in time, the guy sees the cops. And he knows they're there for him. So he runs back into his car and he tries to drive past everybody else. And he starts driving up towards the opening or the outlet of the parking lot. There's nowhere for him to go. So I run faster than he can drive. And I run and I'm like running to the officers. Over here! Over here! Next thing I know, I'm like, it's like the Pied Piper. All these people in their cars who did nothing, by the way. Nobody else called the police. Jump out of the cars and they start running behind me and everybody's waving. Over here! The cops see me. He stops immediately. They run out of the car. The guy sees the cops get out of their car and he starts to run another way. So I start chasing the guy. And I somehow was able to chase him where I chased him right directly into the arms of the officer. And the 2 officers got him and were able to cuff him. And then the cops said, thank you everyone for helping us out. I mentioned that he had threatened he had a gun. They said, yeah, he's a criminal. He's someone who does petty crimes. We actually have a warrant out for his arrest, so thank you for that, and he'll be taken care of. We're all set now. And that was it. When I'm not recording episodes of Comedy After Dark, you might find me on the hiking trail with my trusty camera, taking photos of nature and landscape, pretty much whatever nature has to offer. Photography has been a huge passion of mine ever since I was 7 years old and I received my very first camera. Well, now if you go to MikeBurkePhotography.com, you can actually purchase my work on posters and prints. You'll find many different genres available, including animals, landscapes, seascapes, water scenes, and beautiful sunsets. You can find various different sizes available, and you can also add a frame to your order, so that way when you receive your beautiful new print, you can simply hang it on the wall. All you gotta do is go to MikeBurkePhotography.com and have a look. I'll see you there. Well, in this week's episode, I'm continuing to show you my 2016 presidential campaign. That's right, if you missed it in previous episodes, I ran for president of the United States in 2016, and I made sure I was dressed nice and dapper and had a lot of big hair in order to compete against Donald Trump. I wanted, because obviously it was about the hair, we all know that, and I needed to make sure that my hair was interesting. And so it looks that way. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm running for president because we need change. We don't have enough quarters or dimes, so if you can, please send some change to us here at the campaign, because we need it. We need change. My fellow Americans, I'm running for president because I know I could make this country better. I can solve the gun problems. I can solve the environmental issues. I can solve our diversity issues. And I can bring money into the White House, because I got some. And I could change our economy and give us new jobs. And make us all just love each other. Like one big happy family. My opponents aren't telling you what they're going to do, but I have. I'm going to make things better. I'm going to make it right. When it comes to the environment, I'm going to make it good. When it comes to the gun control problem, I'm going to solve that problem. When it comes to immigration, I'm going to do something good about it. When it comes to minimum wage, I'm going to find a solution, and I have it, and we'll do it. And when it comes to our racial issue, I'm going to do something about that too that's good. There. See, I've shown you how I can do things that they can't. I have answers. They don't. So vote for me in the next election for President of the United States of the United States. I'm Mike Burke, and I approve this message.
Come on. What you want? What you want? Come on. What you
Look at
want?
this. Someone just handed me this paper here. It's another edition of the Good and Bad list. Alright, this week's topic is camping. You know, it is now summertime, my favorite time of the year. All sorts of cool activities to do, and camping is one of them. So I thought I would help you because there are some good things about camping, but there are some bad things as well. And we're going to go through it today, and maybe this will help make up your mind whether or not you want to do it. A good thing, a chance to get away from it all. A bad thing, you have to share your tent with your Aunt Fanny, who smells like dirty laundry water. Yeah, not a good thing. A good thing, the campfire warms you in the cool night. A bad thing, when Charlie accidentally roasts his nuts on the open fire. That's not a good thing. Good and bad things about camping. A good thing, scary ghost stories by the fire. A bad thing, Bigfoot is always watching you. Always. And finally, good and bad things about camping. A good thing, while sleeping in the tent, you feel a stick in your back, giving you the true nature experience. A bad thing, that ain't a stick. And those are good and bad things about camping. Well, now that, you know whether or not you should go camping. I know I wouldn't. Hello, my name is Cecilia Ray, And during this quarantine, people are feeling desperate and sad. Nobody knows what to do. Been trapped indoors for 3 months. So what do? Well, I have an answer. Pie. We can all make pie. I love pie. Pie makes me happy, and when I'm happy, I'm happy. And when you eat pie, you can be happy too. So I'm gonna help you out by sharing with you some different pies that you could make or buy. And then when you eat that pie, you will be happy. Okay? Great. You can have chicken pot pie, shepherd's pie. You can have apple pie. We even have peach cobbler pie. Cecilia loves peach cobbler. Then there's strawberry rhubarb pie. Ooh, strawberries and rhubarb. Wow. Then you could have chocolate pudding pie. Put a dollop of whipped cream on that, baby. Then you could have Jell-O pie. Oh, it jiggles, it's fun, and it's pie. I love pie. You can have ham pie and put pieces of potato in it and beans and whatever the hell you want. You could have hamburger pie. Oh, wonderful. This kind of pie and that kind of pie and all kinds of pie. I love pie. So remember, during this quarantine, eat pie, and that'll make you happy. And when you're happy, I'm happy, and everybody's happy. So have a piece of pie and tell them Cecilia Ray told you to. Bye! Welcome back to Comedy After Dark. You know, something that really bothers me, you might even say it's a pet peeve of mine, is Hollywood and the remakes. Whenever I go to the entertainment section and I open it up and it says Hollywood's remaking this movie or remaking that movie, I get so angry that I usually use the F word, but sometimes I just go, what? What in the what? Welcome to What in the What. It's a segment where I unleash on what angers me and confuses me and just makes me say what in the what. And today I want to talk about Hollywood remakes. Rarely do I like them. I'd say one of the only ones I like, and it doesn't really have great ratings, but I really liked The Heartbreak Kid with Ben Stiller. And mainly I liked it because it was a perfect Ben Stiller movie. I liked the look and feel of it. I love Michelle Moynihan. So I really enjoyed that movie. But for the most part, I just hate remakes. I think they're unnecessary, and I think if you're going to remake a movie, you should remake a bad movie. There are plenty of movies that failed, that were horrible. Why not remake that movie? Make it better. Rewrite it. Come up with something that works, that will make it be a better movie. But why remake a movie that was good? Like Ghostbusters. There was a whole thing about Ghostbusters that they were accusing men of hating women. That the Ghostbuster fans of the original 1984 movie were only men. Well, that's not true. It was men and women who didn't like the remake because it was a remake. No, none of us cared that it was women. I love that whole cast. I'm a fan of theirs. But you know what would have made that movie work? If it was Ghostbusters 3. And those women were simply carrying on the legacy of the first two movies. Then people would have loved it. The movie would have been a huge hit, hugely successful, and beloved. But it was a remake. They even remade the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It was a completely pointless movie. Another one I'd like to bring up is Pet Sematary. When I heard they were going to remake Pet Sematary years ago, I was like, what are you doing? Pet Sematary is one of the creepiest movies I've ever seen. It is my #1 favorite horror movie. And most people that I personally know also feel it's one of the creepiest movies they've seen. Now, I'm not saying it's a perfect movie. I didn't really think all of the actors did a great job. I mean, a lot of them were kind of early in their careers. So some of the scenes weren't all that great, but Fred Gwynne was perfect. Perfect. The little kid was perfect. And the look of the movie and the feel of the movie and the music. The music is beyond creepy. That's probably part of what gets me every time. Not only that, I can relate to the movie. I grew up in New England. I lived in a house that was in the woods, far back from the road, but the road itself, for the first few years that we lived in the house, was as busy as the road in the movie. It was very dangerous. 18-wheelers going by, logger trucks going by all the time. They actually would log behind my house. I lived along water company property, so logger trucks would go back there. We had them on both ends. So I related to the movie. I thought the graveyard scene was extremely creepy. That graveyard scene for the pet cemetery itself actually inspired me as a filmmaker. I always think about it when I make a horror movie. So why remake it? It works. It's timeless. It completely works. So they remake the movie. I refused to give it a cent of my money. I didn't go to the movie theater. I didn't rent it, but Amazon Prime had it, and I'm a Prime member. So I thought, all right, because I'm not paying for it, let me give it a shot. It was like horrible. Maybe if it wasn't a remake of that movie at all and was a whole different thing, it would have been fine. But knowing that they completely changed the Stephen King story, the original movie is a lot closer to the book than this thing is. They changed a lot. They got rid of significant parts of the story that are important. John Lithgow didn't even do a main accent. It was just a waste. Why did you remake it? For what purpose? To change something that worked? There's a lot of bad movies out there. Why not remake a bad movie? Those are the movies that should be remade. Not a good one. Now they're talking about remaking Splash. I mean, seriously? You know what? If you did a sequel and maybe named it something else, like, I don't know, Wet, or Water, I don't know, or The Mermaid, and maybe did a sequel about another character and a different storyline, that's fine. But you're going to remake a movie that was hugely successful, that made Tom Hanks a star, and not only that, you want to know what there were actually two big highlights of that movie. Two big highlights. Eugene Levy and John Candy. You are not going to be able to recreate that magic again. So why do it? The movie worked for what it was. The other thing, too, that Overboard. Overboard is a cult classic. Younger generations are discovering that movie and falling in love with it. It is a hysterically funny movie. But then they remake it. And the thing is they remade it with Anna Faris, who I absolutely love. So it's not that it's her. It's just, why are you remaking it? The original works. You don't need to remake it. Just stop. For the love of God, stop. You know the way I view this too? I view this as being disrespectful to the original filmmakers, the original actors, the original writers. They went off and made something that worked. Something that was entertaining, something that audiences loved. And then you're coming by and saying, nah, that's not good enough. We're going to do it better. Why not leave it alone? You're also disrespecting the culture of that time, which happens to be my culture. Because they don't remake old movies. They don't remake Gone with the Wind, It's a Wonderful Life, or Citizen Kane. Oh, no. You don't touch those movies. Those movies are sacred. Oh, but Splash isn't sacred to my generation? Ghostbusters, one of the most popular comedy movies of all time, that's not sacred? They even discussed remaking Back to the Future. That's a sacred movie of my time. You don't remake it. You find a way to make it, or like Jurassic Park. Instead of remaking Jurassic Park, they did a whole new series. It's Jurassic World. And now they have the new movie they're doing, which is going to combine the original movies with the new movies and make it all together. That's how you make it work. Not to just do a flat-out disrespectful remake of a movie that's about our time and our culture, But yet you won't go touch the movies from the Citizen Kane era. Oh, those are sacred. Well, our movies are sacred too. Leave them alone. And the movies that are being made today, like the comic book movies, like the Marvel movies, those are sacred to the generations of today. So in the future, don't remake those either. Hollywood remakes. I've had enough. I've had enough. And they just, every time I go to the entertainment section and I see it says Hollywood to remake this movie, I just go, what in the what? Hey, if you just enjoyed my segment, What in the What, you can actually wear that on a t-shirt. Just go to my website, wearexpressions.com, where you'll find all kinds of funny and interesting expressions on t-shirts, hoodies, and even mugs. Just go to wearexpressions.com and take a look. You might find something you like, including my What in the What t-shirt. wearexpressions.com. You know, I've always believed in being diverse. I am not white. I am not black. I am something else. I am all of those things. I'm Hispanic. I'm African. I'm Italian and Irish and Canadian and French and Germany and... let's skip the French part. Growing up, I was born to a very diverse family. You see, I was raised by a gaggle of monkeys in the jungles of the Amazon. Now, it's true I wasn't born there. I was born in the United States, but the monkeys took me out of this country and raised me in the Amazon. And we would hunt and gather food and raid villages and steal young children and turn them into monkey children. And then, eventually, we started our own army of monkey hybrid humans. Our plan was to take over the world. I have always believed in America. Always. Because it's here. And it's real. I mean, if it was a ghost, then I might not believe it, but I believe in America because I know it's real. Because I saw the maps of it. I saw it in school. It was in the history book, so it's gotta be real, right? Growing up, I wasn't always like the other kids. I liked to dress up in suits and red ties, and sit behind my desk and pretend that I was the President of the United States. I would then make my friends sit on my cabinet and perform things like war strategies. I have always believed in love. And when I met my wife Candy, while she was dancing around that metal pole, I knew it was love at first sight. There she was, glistening in oil, and she had that wonderful tan that somehow seemed to be dripping off, which was unusual. But still, she was gorgeous. And when I paid her $400 to spend the night with me, she did. And we've been together ever since. You know, I really do love children, and I actually have a lot of my own. 42 and counting. Each of them has a different mother, but that's because I believe in spreading the wealth. You know, why should one woman get me? Why should my children only have one mother? I think it is best that I should spread the wealth, spread my manliness to as many women as possible, and have children everywhere, because I believe in overpopulation. My opponents are at each other's throat. They're dividing the parties. Hillary Clinton is burying Bernie Sanders with pantsuits. Then there's Donald Trump, who's actually strangling the other opponents. And Ted Cruz, who bashed everyone over the head with a baseball bat. I'm not going to do that because I care. I care about everyone. If I could have it my way, we would all sleep together in a big giant puffy bed and throw pillows at each other and do nosies. Nosies, you're so cute and so cuddly, I just love you. That's how we come together as people. By getting together in a giant bed and having pillow fights and doing nosies. I'm Mike Burke, and I approve this message because I just do, damn it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Comedy After Dark. So we are going to do something very different today. Something I didn't do on the original show, and something that you haven't seen here. Now, what I'm going to do has never been done before anywhere in the world. This is something brand new, and it features brand new technology that hasn't even been announced yet. So right now, we are living in pretty difficult times. We have the pandemic, we have the civil unrest in the United States, and people are just feeling pretty overwhelmed and stressed out right now. And nobody really knows what they can do. You're probably angry every day, upset, depressed, you name it. So one of the things that a lot of people turn to is meditation. Now, meditation allows you to free your mind and just kind of forget about all of your worries and all of the things that hold you down, and put you in a peaceful place and a positive mindset. And so I decided that that's what we are going to do today. What I like to do is just sit back, close my eyes, let the music take my mind away, and I just let my thoughts run their course. And I relax myself, and I think about the things that make me happy and the things that I want. And so what I'm going to do today, and this is a first, this has never been done before, is I'm going to utilize special technology that's going to allow you to hear my thoughts. Now, nobody knows this technology exists except for the people who have invented it. They came to me and said, Mike, because your show is the most popular show in the world, in which only one person watches every week, we want you to be the guinea pig for this. And I said, okay, I can do that. So what they've done is, before the show started, they actually inserted these wires in the back of my head and these probes that go into my brain. What it's going to do is allow you to hear real audio of my actual thoughts while I meditate. And I just thought it would be interesting to do that. So that way you can see the proper way to meditate and how I do it. And so then you can do it as well. So let's do this. We're going to calm down now. All right, let's calm our voice. Everybody take a breath. Okay, that's all the laughter from doing a comedy show leaving me. Okay, good, it's out. Now I'm going to close my eyes, and when I do so, the scientists in the back room are going to flip a switch, and you will then begin to hear my thoughts. So here we go. Are we ready? Great. Just relax the mind. Relax the mind and just forget all of your worries. Okay, great. I'm staying calm. I'm not thinking about anything else. Just see the light. See the light and connect to the light. Did I leave the front door unlocked? I think I may have. I wonder if I should stop and go check. No. Let's do this. Let's do this. We're relaxing now. We're relaxing. Oh no, I forgot to pay my credit card bill. Ah, damn it. Breathe in. Breathe out. Meditating. Really enjoyed that movie, Joe vs. the Volcano. I don't know why people don't understand it. It really is an amazing movie about taking a leap of faith. I think a lot of people should see it. What? No. Stop. You're supposed to be thinking about nothing. Come on, stop thinking about nothing. I am trying not to think about anything, okay? Just shut up, all right? I'm just listen to me and stop thinking. I can't stop thinking. That's all I do is think. Shut the hell up. No, you shut up. You shut up. No, you shut up. You shut up. All right, if you say it one more time, I'm going to slap the shit out of you. Do you hear me? Go ahead and try. I dare you. I dare you. Ow. Just calm down now. Let's relax. Listen to that beautiful music. Ah, that's great. So beautiful. I gotta pee. I really gotta pee. I feel so much better. I feel a lot better. I think we can continue with the show now in a more relaxed way. We'll see you in a bit. I'm Professor Crabapple, Director of the Elimination of All Things White of the Institution of the Erasing of Whitey White Useless Whites. Okay? Okay. So what my job is to root out all of white supremacy because I'm supposed to be offended for people who are a different race of me, okay? Okay. So I know and realize that I am one of these whitey whites. However, I am offended for you. I'm offended that the black person has to be surrounded by whitey white. I am even more offended for the Native Americans who have to have sport teams named after them. And even though the Native Americans have come out and said we're not offended, we're actually proud of the name, I'm still offended for you. Okay? Okay. So today my job here is to tell you what we can do to remove white supremacy from our society. And to do that, we must remove the term white, because the term white is an offensive racist term that shows white supremacy. Okay? Okay. So first up, we're going to change the name teeth whitening. I mean, how racist is that? How racist is that? Teeth whitening, the process of whitening. Does that not sound like you're trying to turn someone who's not your color into the color of white to match you? That is one of the most racist terms I have ever heard. Whitening. So we're going to change the name of teeth whitening to Shiny Deep Cleaning Cleaner for the Tooth. Okay? Okay. Okay. Next up, white snow. Oh my God, every winter we gotta deal with racism all around us. White supremacy everywhere. On our lawn, in our driveway, on top of our cars, on our roof, falling from the sky. Okay? Okay. So we are going to change that horrific racist term, white snow, to bright, cold, frozen stuff that falls from the sky, okay? Okay. Next up, white flour. Even in our food, white flour. How racist! So we are no longer going to call it white flour. Instead, we are going to change it to unhealthy, powdery baking substance. Okay? Okay. Ah, this one really rattles my shorts. White paper. White paper, how racist. Look at this. Look at this whitey white. Well, we have to change the way we view this as not being white. So how do we do it? Well, we call it non-color binary tree slices. Okay? Okay. This is a tree slice. All right? And it's accurate. Cocaine! Cocaine is typically white. You know what? We're just going to leave that one. We're going to leave that one because cocaine's bad, white people are bad, so it all works out. The singer Barry White. Now, I know he's no longer with us, but the fact is, he has to still go on with his legacy of having his last name be White. How racist! Oh my God! To be a black man and have the last name White! Talk about white supremacy! So we're going to change it to... Well, I think it's quite obvious what we're going to change it to, right? I mean, his name is Barry White, and we're going to go with the opposite and change it to, you guessed it, Barry Green. Okay? Okay. Betty White. America's sweetheart. Betty White. Oh, I feel sorry for her. She's got to have that white supremacist last name of White. Well, that's going to change. Betty White, I know you've been here for 90 years, but guess what? Your new name is Betty, America's sweetheart with a racist hair color. Okay? Okay. White light. White light! Ugh. We're gonna change that. Okay, and this goes for all you meditators out there who talk about pure white light and source energy, okay? We're gonna change it to slight bluish orangey yellow light. Slight bluish orangey yellow light, okay? Okay. This one's a good one. Lily white. Oh, it's also lily white. Oh, what a racist term. Lily white is again just showing more white supremacy. So we're going to change it to annoyingly perfect moron Lily. Okay? Okay. All right. Then we have Snow White. What a little bitch. Who does she think she is? That she gets to have white supremacy? Not in my world, she doesn't. So we're going to change Snow White's name to stuck-up bitch who rejected me woman. Okay? Okay. White rice. It's my favorite food. I eat it all day long. And yet I feel guilty when I eat it. Because I feel like I'm eating white supremacy in a bowl. We're going to change the name to racist white. Go for brown instead. Okay? Okay. And finally, the color white. The color white needs to change. It is the most supremacist of all colors. The biggest whitey white racist color that ever existed. The color white. We need to change that, okay? Okay. So the new name will be Guilty by Association Assholes who are evil privileged whip crackers who need to pay for what people did 200 years ago. There we go. The new name for the color of white. Okay? Okay. I've been Professor Crabapple. Hey, don't be white. Hey, thank you for watching today's episode. We have now come to the end. We will be back next week at 7 p.m. That is the time that we premiere our newest episode. So be sure to come right here at my YouTube channel to watch it. By the way, it would be great if you can subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. Make sure you set up your notifications so whenever a new video is released, you'll know. And plus, subscribing helps my channel grow and get bigger and bigger, and I can do more content. Also, if you like this video, please don't feel shy. Like the video, it really helps. And another thing you might do is share the video. Maybe others would like to see it as well. Why not? So remember though, next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. If you missed the premiere, you can always watch it afterwards, once the premiere is over, and then you can watch it from the beginning. But that's it. So we will see you next week, and go yourself, San Diego. That was just a joke. I love San Diego. It was from Anchorman, remember?